Welcome back, you guys. I'm so glad you came to visit me here at home today. We are currently in my new recording area. We've recorded in every room of my house so far, and I just haven't found that spot yet that I find to be perfect. So we're gonna try out this room, our guest room, which I've organized a little bit. I'm not completely done, but I wanted to get to recording today. If you are new here or you are returning, hi, hello, welcome back or welcome in. Today I am doing something a little different. I have done it before here once and it was a little bit different. I reacted to the news from last week. Today I'm going to start something very new that I want to continue to do every now and again, and we're going to call it That's So Last Week. So you guys can join me here to see what happened last week. What was the head news titles? I've got national, international, and some really fun viral videos, I guess. Some fun viral videos to show you guys from last week. I don't want to waste time. I want us to jump right in. So let's go. First, this past week, we had Elon Musk and Marco Rubio go head to head, supposedly, okay? During a cabinet meeting. Turns out that Elon thinks Marco Rubio is not firing enough people. At this point, last week, okay? So they had a little spat. Trump watched them talk back and forth. But I want you guys to see what the news was reporting from a few different angles. Let's jump in.
Since you last spoke about it yesterday, some details have come out about your cabinet meeting with Elon Musk and some clashes potentially between Secretary Rubio and Secretary...
No clash. I was there. You're just a troublemaker. And you're not supposed to be asking that question because we're talking about the World Cup. Elon gets along great with Marco, and they're both doing a fantastic job. There is no clash.
Mr. President, bottom line...
Who are you with? Who are you with?
NBC.
Oh, no wonder. That's enough. NBC.
Just on the cabinet meeting, you said Musk will play an advisory role. Doge will play...
We're talking about FIFA. Thank you very
About
much.
the World Cup, Mr. President, you're having...
And they're both great guys. And by the way, they both get along fantastically well. Marco has done unbelievably as Secretary of State. And Elon is a very unique guy who's done a fantastic job.
So straight from Trump's mouth, there is no problems between them, okay, NBC? We know how you like to be starting stuff, okay, spreading little hate seeds. And they had to continue, they had to keep going, okay? So like Trump said, we're here for FIFA, stop with your nonsense. But of course, they can't help themselves. We had two different reporters speak, probably both CBS, NBC propaganda. So let's jump into this clip now with MSNBC and see what she's got to say.
Confrontation of sorts inside the White House between Elon Musk and several members of Donald Trump's new cabinet, with Donald Trump sort of reduced to the role of spectator. The Times cites 5 people with knowledge of the confrontation, reports this about an argument between Elon Musk and Marco Rubio. Quote, "You fired nobody," Musk told Rubio, then scornfully added that perhaps the only person he had fired was a staff member from his Department of Government Efficiency. Rubio had been privately furious with Musk for weeks, ever since his Doge team effectively shuttered an entire agency that was supposedly under Rubio's control, the United States Agency for International Development. Musk was not being truthful, Rubio said. What about the more than 1,500 State Department officials who took early retirement in buyouts? Didn't they count as layoffs, he asked sarcastically, whether Musk wanted him to rehire all those people just so he can make a show of firing them again. Then he laid out his detailed plans for reorganizing the State Department. Musk was unimpressed. He told Rubio he was, quote, good on TV, with the clear subtext being he wasn't good for much else.
With the clear subtext. With the clear subtext. I love that MSNBC always has to sprinkle the words opinion, subtext, and alleged as much as possible to keep out of trouble. Aside from that was her smile. She was so excited to report this, and I just don't get it. I don't get this woman. She's such a grump. She only gets happy when bad things happen. It's very weird. But yes, so they're saying Rubio and Elon hitting heads, clashing, and not getting along. Supposedly, the way they reported it was Trump watched from afar and let them have their argument, stepping in to have Marco Rubio's back. I think she's about to say that right now. Let's go see. And that's at 2:07, Heaven.
Where was Donald Trump in all this? The Times reports that he sat back as if he was watching a tennis match. Ultimately,
Where was Donald Trump in all this? The Times reports that he sat back as if he was watching a tennis match. Ultimately, he, quote, intervened to defend, wait for it, Rubio. Said he was doing a great job. Rubio has a lot to deal with, the president said. He's very busy. He's always traveling and on TV. And he has an agency to run. So everyone just needs to work together, end quote. And then for the first time since his inauguration, Trump put some restraints on Elon Musk. From this reporting, quote, from now on, he said, the secretaries would be in charge. The Musk team will only advise.
From now on, she says. My opinion on this is she's wrong. This is not new. Trump has been saying this for a very long time. Elon Musk is not making decisions. And I have proof, okay? Let's go see what Caroline Levitt reported on this when we first started Doge.
Engineers with access to Treasury systems. Can you clarify, do the Doge engineers have read-only access in these systems? So they're not allowed to write new code? They are not, okay.
No. This question this week, and he said if Elon Musk comes across a conflict of interest with the contracts and the funding that Doge is overseeing, then Elon will excuse himself from those contracts. And he has, again, abided by all applicable laws.
So there you have it right there, okay? Elon Musk does not have control of any of the things he's going through. He is just trying to sort things out as a tech, okay? IT. He's calling himself IT. Let's get on with this story. And actually, what I added next, I wanted you guys to see how funny it is that CBS goes against everything the White House reports. In this next clip, you're going to hear them literally say out loud they have no clue what Doge is doing, right after being informed by Caroline Levitt what Doge is doing.
Rona, your team actually looked into the data surrounding those Doge cuts. What can you tell us?
So President Trump was claiming there were hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fraud. Now, we have seen no evidence for this. The best insight we have is this Doge website, and they have like a thing called Wall of Receipts, where they're itemizing all of these contracts they say they're cutting. Now, that itemization, it's less than $9 billion, so certainly not hundreds of billions. And even within that $9 billion, there are numerous errors. So the I unit here at CBS and the Confirm team actually dug into this. And we found that, for example, some contracts were counted multiple times, or they were citing incorrect figures. So we know that within that there are numerous errors. So there's no evidence so far that we have seen that they have actually identified hundreds of thousands of dollars or billions of dollars worth of fraud. When the White House was asked about this, the Press Secretary Caroline Levitt said that, they believe that all of these are waste and abuse and fraud, that arguably any of these contracts are a waste of American taxpayer dollars, but none of them actually called out fraud specifically.
Right, so she says where you can go and see it, but how do we know it's real? How do we believe them? How do we take them at their word? How were we supposed to take you guys at your word? You can't even fill an audit, okay? The Pentagon has filled how many audits in a row? Who's being honest? Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to trust Doge here. I'm going to trust Musk, considering he was able to take PayPal and turn it into everything he has now. He started PayPal and turned it into like the biggest enterprise ever. He's got SpaceX. He's got Tesla. He's got so many other projects that are huge. And he's been able to make success in all these places. Why not allow him to help us find success? It's very strange to me that they would prefer to keep fraud. And notice how she said, it's not hundreds of billions, it's just billions. Not considering these are yearly payments, monthly payments. And she's saying, well, they're seeing repetitions. Yeah, that's not good. And maybe she doesn't mean what I mean, but the amount of repetitions that they found of Adobe contracts, Microsoft contracts for thousands of people that aren't even using the program. That's fraud. That's waste. Yeah, so let's see what Carolyn Levitt said to her before this, okay? I don't know if it was a day before or so, but let's see. 36. Okay, so we've got a good 2 months date difference. This is from Carolyn Levitt on the 12th of February.
Doge and the fraud claims. Elon Musk in the Oval yesterday gave us some information on that. We're just wondering if there's some proof, evidence. Is the White House willing to share?
But also to Americans at home, but I would say especially to all of you in the media, because I think it's a real fallacy that there's this alleged lack of transparency when it comes to Doge. President Trump and Elon Musk have been incredibly transparent on what Doge is doing. There is an X account with the Doge handle. They are tweeting out what they are doing on a daily basis. They have a website where they are posting the receipts of the contracts that they are reviewing and the payments that they have stopped from going out the door. The secretaries of our departments have stopped from going out the door. And I would also say that before it was Elon Musk making our government efficient and accountable, it was some unnamed bureaucrat that none of you knew. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. He's also now one of the most highly scrutinized men in the world alongside President Trump because of what he's doing and the access that he is allowing. So there's great transparency. As for the actual receipts, we are happy to provide them, and I actually brought some today because all of you know I love to bring the receipts. This administration has been more than transparent about what Doge is doing, and here's one of their tweets that they posted about the mine. I believe this is in Pennsylvania.
Today, there is a conflict of interest law in place that says that people who have personal interests can't interact with government entities that could touch on those. Has President Trump signed a waiver for Elon Musk? Does such a thing exist? If it does, will you guys release it in the interest of transparency that he's committed to?
I have not seen the law that you are referring to. What I can tell you is that Elon Musk, as I've confirmed before, is a special government employee. He is filing the proper financial disclosure, and he is complying with all applicable federal laws. As you also heard, Elon address this directly yesterday in the alleged conflict of interest, and he said everything he's doing is very public, and if you all perceive a conflict of interest, you're welcome to bring that up. And as the president said, if he feels like Elon is engaging in something that's a conflict of interest, he will tell Elon not to do that. And Elon also said yesterday that before he moves forward with anything, he consults with the President of the United States. So we're very confident with the ethics and the guardrails that have been put in place here.
Once again, trying to spin a wild narrative. I just don't understand it. They are literally the reason there's people in the streets yelling. And that's something we're going to touch soon, okay? So right now, last week, Rogan posted a video of Elon talking about the fraud he's found and some weird connections to Epstein lists, which, if you're into conspiracies, you're already very aware of.
Yes.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying they could do it so brazenly to a guy who was the president for 4 years.
Right. That lawsuit was funded by Reid Hoffman, who is a major Dem donor, and also an Epstein client. The plot thickens.
The plot thickens.
That's kind of the point I'm trying to make, okay? There are a few companies who are literally owned and paid for by these people who own these businesses, monopolies, whatever they are in the background, whoever the fuck they are, like this guy he's talking about right here, an Epstein client who's also one of the biggest blue donors. I looked him up. He's also written books and stuff. Creep. Check his hard drive. Please get him out. Like, what are we doing? Where are you, Cash? Cash Patel, hello? Where are you? Where are you? Stop watching CNN, MSN, ABC, CBS. If it's owned by Microsoft, you probably can't trust it. Just like the vaccines. Okay, I'm going too far. Let's continue this video.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
It's just... It's so blatant.
So the instruments of justice are being wielded by, funded by, maneuvered and manipulated by political interests. Something like justice, which you think of as being objective, along with the media, which we once thought of as a conduit. That the point of media was to hold the powerful to account, to report to the populare, the people, us, what the powerful are up to. Now we know that the media is a corrupted vessel funded by Bill Gates, and now we know that the judiciary appears to be manipulated by powerful interests as well. Isn't that fascinating?
It's like so obvious. The SpaceX lawsuit, the Trump stuff, it's so obvious.
Yes. Like known Epstein clients who are obviously extremely powerful, powerful politically and very wealthy, are Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, and Reid Hoffman. And some others too, but those three. So, why was Reid Hoffman so intent on destroying Trump?
Do you think it's because they're worried about the list coming out?
Yeah, one of the reasons. Yeah.
They pause a lot, don't they? That's what happens when you get confident people on a podcast.
Elon told Rogan the left wants him dead.
These are real enemies.
Like, I think they actually want to kill me. I mean, the reason I know, well, they say so online. There's like Reddit forums where they don't just want to kill me, they want to desecrate my corpse.
One lib suffering from Musk derangement syndrome just got arrested outside of Boston for vandalizing random Teslas.
Why do you think they have the right to do that? It's my free speech. Free speech not on your car? Oh. Yeah? That doesn't matter. It's not up to you to say anything.
You guys can get a better car. If you can afford that car...
It's not up to you to say anything.
I guess we have a difference of opinion.
And yes, that was a Palestinian flag strapped to the back of that guy's bike. In a different incident outside of Boston, half a dozen charging stations were torched overnight, and the suspects are still at large. On the West Coast, a radical lefty activist was charged with firebombing and shooting up a Tesla dealership.
On Tuesday, a man was arraigned after police linked him to two separate cases at the Salem Tesla Center. Police say these surveillance images from the dealership show Adam Matthew Lansky throwing Molotov cocktails at the dealership and sparking fires. Police also allege that on a separate occasion, Lansky fired several rounds into the dealership.
And also charging Lucy Grace Nelson, a.k.a. Justin Thomas Nelson, a trans activist, for trying to plant a series of explosive devices at a Tesla dealership in Colorado after spray painting Nazi on the building. Lefties who once flocked to Tesla for a green future are now having a change of heart because of crazy libs harassing them. Dangerous and pretty disturbing trend that's now, I guess, not showing any signs of slowing down. Why won't the Democrats denounce their base?
Yep, so he's got lots of death threats right now, coming at him from every angle. It's kind of crazy because the Dems used to love him. I want to say the Dems because it's like the liberals, right, who are very pro eco-friendly stuff, wanting to avoid fossil fuels. And they used to think he was awesome, and now he's helping the government, and they're telling us to hate him, so we should hate him, right? They're drawing Nazi symbols on cars and on their own bodies, which is very strange. I don't know if you guys saw that. There was a protest in Germany last week. I did not add it, but they had big old swastikas on them, and they're walking down, they're doing their little sign. They don't care. They kind of look like the Nazis. I don't understand why they protested like that. It was very strange. But we got some wicked news before Saturday, okay, when I was putting all these clips together. You guys got to see this.
Protesters are now being arrested at these Tesla dealership locations. This comes as Elon Musk has confirmed that it's Act Blue behind all of this. Take a look. So those protesters were arrested and removed. You guys know I've been showing you videos that were in Oregon And in other states where people have been setting Tesla superchargers on fire and also protesting inside of these Tesla dealership locations. Here's what Elon Musk put up early this morning. An investigation has found 5 Act Blue funded groups responsible for Tesla's protest: Troublemakers, Disruption Project, Rise and Resist, Invisible Project, and Democratic Socialists of America. Act Blue funders, including George Soros, Reid Hoffman, Herbert Sandler, Patricia Bondman, and Lee Hunt Hendricks. Act Blue is currently under investigation for allowing foreign and illegal donations and criminal violation of campaign finance regulations. This week, 7 Act Blue senior officials resigned, including the Associate General Counsel. If you know anything about this, please post in replies. Thanks, Elon.
Act Blue. Act Blue is paying people to protest at Tesla. Are they the ones being violent? Are they the ones throwing Molotov cocktails? We have no idea, but we can assume that they have inspired a bunch more citizens to go out there and do some really reckless things. It's pretty wild how easily controlled the Americans seem to be. It never seems to amaze me. Ever. It's just a very weird phenomenon.
Now here's Congressman Steele out of Wisconsin. He heads up the actual committee that is investigating Act Blue. Here's what he had to say yesterday.
Yeah, you're the chairman of the Committee on House Administration. You've been leading an investigation into Act Blue, which is the Democrats' kind of dark money platform, and it's a lot of shady things happening with that. The New York Times out with a new piece saying that Act Blue has plunged into turmoil. At least 7 senior officials resigning late last month. Departures come as the group is under investigation by yourself and other congressional Republicans. What is happening at Act Blue as you guys begin to look into this fundraising platform?
When I began my investigation in Act Blue, I could not believe what I was finding: an absolute lack of financial controls that should be in place at almost any place that is operating with your money. As we all know, if you go online and try to buy something, you have to enter that 3-digit code on the back of your credit card, a CVV number. Act Blue wasn't even requiring that. They weren't automatically rejecting donations that were made from prepaid cards from risky foreign countries. And so we began this investigation to figure out what exactly is going on in Act Blue. We've issued subpoenas, we've asked questions of Act Blue, and we just now have the New York Times reporting that senior leaders are jumping off the ship of Act Blue. Our investigation is going to continue, and now we have friends that we can work with in the United States Department of Treasury instead of being stiff-armed as we were during the Biden administration.
So this is not looking good for Democrats. Now, let's not forget that time when Elizabeth Warren was using Act Blue to raise funds, all in the name of Los Angeles wildfire victims, okay? They're that scammy. Why is this such a big deal? Because if the Department of Justice actually does their job and investigates Act Blue and brings them up on charges, we're talking terrorism at this point, domestically. You cannot be funding people to go into Tesla dealerships, break the windows, set the superchargers on fire, and disrupt citizens. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. Now, I might be wrong on the terminology on what those charges could be, but as I state all of that out loud, you know there's something off about this. Corruption sky high here, and I just hope Pam Bondi, if she wants to redeem herself, she should be all over this ASAP.
Now we're gonna watch something a little bit different now. It's a little off topic, but I wanted to leave it in because he touched on Jasmine Crockett, and we're gonna talk about her at the end of this video.
Take a look.
City law enforcement, local law enforcement, they are always going after crime. And they don't say, oh, you committed a murder? Oh, but you're an immigrant? Well, let me let you go, right? So they are always focused on crime. They continue to say things like the illegals and that they broke the law coming in. But what they're not telling the American people is that it is a civil violation. It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations. Don't give me this fake outrage about criminals roaming our streets when you guys stand 10 toes down for the biggest criminal that we have ever seen go into the White House.
The biggest criminal we've ever seen go into the White House. The biggest criminal to ever go into the White House? Wasn't that Hunter Biden? Let's not get mixed up here, okay? I know it was off topic, but I had to leave that part. Also, it is a crime. It is a crime to cross the borders in America illegally. That is a crime. I don't know why she's saying this.
So this is who speaks for the Democratic Party now.
So this is who speaks for the Democratic Party now, right? She's not making any logical arguments here. Why don't she focus on what's happening with Act Blue? Why doesn't she focus on actually what voters want and stop being so obsessed with President Trump? It's fascinating, really, to cover all this. That bleeds over to Elon Musk.
Next in Elon's news is something I think he's doing to solve this issue, okay? I'm sure he's tired of getting death threats. I'd be freaked out, especially if I had 13, what does he have, 15 kids, 13 kids? I'd be really freaked out. He's trying to save the world, he's got his internet, he's trying to get them cars, he's trying to, now, okay, he's leaving the planet. He's out of here. Elon Musk announced, well, Trump announced that Elon Musk will be going pretty soon to save our astronauts that are stuck in space. Have you guys heard about this?
You might have heard there are 2 astronauts stuck on the International Space Station. But why? Well, they're 250 miles above the surface, 45 Mount Everests up, and they're zooming around Earth at 17,000 miles per hour. And to get astronauts up there, their spacecraft needs to basically chase down the ISS, and then it enters its orbit and reaches the same speed. And then align itself to the docking port using a bunch of small thrusters. It's complicated. In June, the Boeing Starliner took off with 2 astronauts on board and successfully docked with the ISS, but it took an extra hour because some of its thrusters malfunctioned from overheating. They also detected helium leaks that affected the ability of the thrusters to fire. So NASA was worried that it wouldn't be able to return the astronauts safely, and they had it come back empty. So the astronauts are stuck there for 8 months. Luckily, they're going to be picked up by SpaceX, Boeing's rival, which is kind of embarrassing for Boeing, but it's awesome that we have multiple different options here. Subscribe if you like options.
Having a great time here on ISS.
Floating some 250 miles above the Earth, astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams thought their trip to the space station and back would last about 10 days. That was 2 months ago. Now, NASA mission managers say they could stay there for another 6 months.
We had astronauts who were supposed to be gone for 7 days, and they've been gone for 8 months.
Long time. In depth today, firsthand look at what it is like to be stuck in space.
Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams traveled to the International Space Station on Boeing's Starliner back in June. It was supposed to be a 10-day mission, but this morning they're entering day 65.
That's right, 2 astronauts stuck in space, and Elon gets to escape the death threats for a little bit, okay? I hope he's on Starship. I hope he's not sending it alone. I hope he's going up there. He gets to be the first dude driving that Starship. Go save the astronauts. Get out of here, Elon. Go save yourself, save the astronauts, and save America. Now, the first clip I have for you guys is of the Starship. He was, I guess they're running, what do you call that, running, like a practice run, right? He's doing a practice run. I don't know what the mission test. They're testing the rockets, and this is another Starship that freaking explodes in space. Let's see how Joy Reid's replacements have reacted.
MSDNC took it upon themselves to make a part of their show trashing SpaceX and the Starship that conducted a test flight the other day where the booster was caught, which is a huge accomplishment, but the Starship itself blew up in space. Here's what they had to say about it.
Well, Alphabet may be defying gravity, but you know who isn't? Elon Musk. On Thursday, a SpaceX Starship rocket exploded just minutes into its test flight. The FAA temporarily stopped air traffic around Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and Orlando. It is the second consecutive Starship test flight from Elon Musk's company to end with destruction.
All I could think about was, oh, I can't sing.
No, please don't. That's good.
Elon Musk should not be in Washington, D.C. because he doesn't know what he's doing. No, the truth is he does know what he's doing, and he's exposing the fact that the people in the government don't know what they're doing because they've been scamming American taxpayers to fund their pet projects. And what is one of those pet projects? Here's an example of that.
We've exposed hundreds of millions of dollars of NIH spending, even spending by the NSF and the U.S. Department of Agriculture on animal experiments in colleges and universities across the country that are giving animals, lab animals, hormone therapies, invasive surgeries to create trans-feminine, trans-masculine mice and rats, giving puberty blockers to baby animals to mimic trans kids, and then electroshocking them. In some cases, they're even giving these transgender animals sex party drugs and overdosing them to see what happens.
Yeah, I had to leave that in there too, because what?
Now, I want you to truly think about what he just said. Taxpayer money is funding these projects to inject puberty blockers, sex party drugs, to see what happens to them. And we're not talking thousands of dollars, millions, billions in some cases.
Now I have some national news for us. Okay, we had 2 arrests in Homeland Security. That's right. Kristi Noem announced that there were some leakers in her Homeland Security Department. Let's go ahead and listen to this clip from last week.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem exclusively telling Fox News she is taking action after identifying 2 internal leakers within the agency.
We have identified 2 leakers of information here at the Department of Homeland Security who have been telling individuals about our operations and putting law enforcement lives in jeopardy. We plan to prosecute these 2 individuals and hold them accountable for what they've done. And we're going to continue to do all that we can to keep America safe.
That's right. We had 2 Homeland Security people arrested for giving details to illegal immigrants on how to avoid ICE. Now I know there's been a few people doing this online in minor ways, which the government hasn't seemed to be enforcing anything on or doing anything about. So I'm really curious how far these people went, because it must have been pretty bad. I know that we had some people who told Tren de Aragua where ICE was and when they were coming for them, which totally disrupted how they were going to go in, and like, our men really could have gotten hurt. It was really crazy. I don't understand why anyone would try to save gang members, rapists, drug dealers, criminals. I don't understand. If you have a clue as to why anyone would want to save them, you can inform me below.
Florida Senator and member of the Homeland Security Committee, Rick Scott, joins us now. Senator Scott, thank you so much for joining us this morning. How important is it that DHS go after, and other agencies for that matter, go after these leakers inside federal government agencies that are undermining the administration's effort to make arrests and deport criminal aliens?
It's very important. Number one, Trump 47 is going to be known for 3 things: common sense, accountability, and transparency. And so what Kristi Noem is doing here is saying, who in the right mind wants to keep criminals in this country, and why would somebody at Homeland Security want to help criminals that are killing American citizens? I mean, we just watched, Laken Riley's parents the other day. I mean, who in their right mind? So she's going to hold people accountable. I've been in the Senate 6 years. There has been no accountability. This is what's going to happen now. There's going to be accountability all across this country. If you're illegal, you don't have a right to be in this country. You don't have a right. Come in here legally. I like legal immigration. If we need to work on our legal immigration system, the Democrats should help us. But this idea that we want criminals and terrorists and narco traffickers, we want more drugs, and these Democrats want to defend it, the Democrats are being known for exactly what the American public don't want.
We also had 3 arrests, okay? Soldiers, okay? Whistleblowing soldiers who sold information to China. I'm pretty sure Kash Patel did these arrests, and 2 of them were on-duty soldiers. One of them was not. They were selling hard drives from China. Oh, I'm sorry, selling hard drives to China. I think they got $15,000, which is like $5,000 each. That's nothing for selling out your country.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox, and good morning to you if you're just now tuning in. On this Friday, we are following breaking news, learning 2 U.S. soldiers and 1 former soldier are charged with selling U.S. Army secrets to China. Fox's David Detling has the latest information.
2 active duty U.S. soldiers stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord no longer at their posts. They are behind bars accused of working with the Chinese government.
This is the result of a long-running investigation where the FBI and our partners were able to uncover a conspiracy to steal national defense information from military installations here in the Pacific Northwest.
The FBI naming those 2 JBLM soldiers as Jian Zhao and Li Tian. They, along with Roy Duen, a former U.S. soldier in Oregon, were arrested Thursday. All of them are accused of violating their duties to protect sensitive military information by selling it to China. All 3 had access to highly sensitive information, which upon sale, they gained roughly $15,000, giving China access to classified hard drives, a stolen encryption-capable computer, along with other sensitive military information. The FBI stating this threat to national security ended following a 1.5-year-long investigation.
Luckily, our
that's another story that was minor, but you may have wanted to hear, was daylight savings could be actually finally coming to an end, okay? And this is something that I look forward to because, well, I'm in Arizona, so I technically don't deal with the time change, but my family's in New Mexico, and I hate it. I actually wish we could be on the same time, which I'm sure they won't do. They'll probably stay an hour later than me if we get rid of the daylight savings, which just sucks. I'd much rather be on the same time as my family, but I don't get to control the world, I get that. I'm pro getting rid of daylight savings. I like being in Arizona where we don't deal with it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So let's hear what they got to say about it, okay?
And end daylight savings time forever. So why do we need to lock the clocks and end daylight savings time?
Well, first off, in Florida, we like our sunshine. We love being out on the beach. We love playing sports. We love all these things. And people are just sick and tired of going back and forth twice a year. You change the clock. So they're tired of it. When I was governor, I passed a bill that if the federal government allowed us, we were going to stay on daylight savings time. I have a federal bill, Sunshine Protection Act, would say we'll stay on daylight savings time. President Trump has been supportive of locking the clock. And I hope we can get it done quickly so we stop this constantly going back and forth every few months.
Although he kind of punted the other day when he said, I don't know, it's a 50-50 issue. And I think he's really gotten so used to his 80-20 issues that a 50-50 issue doesn't even get him out of bed in the morning.
Well, Trump, you better come through with this one, okay? 50-50 issue, we want it still. Give it to us, please. So, Senator Scott is leading us to lock the clocks, which I am so for. I am over daylight savings. I don't understand the point of it anymore. How about you guys? Do you guys like daylight savings? Do you want the time change to end? Let me know down below. Another clip I have for you guys is international, okay? And internationally, we've had some wild stuff, okay? Tariffs, mostly. But I have a clip about Russian tariffs that Trump had wanted to propose last week in order to slow down the war. Let's take a look.
Considering imposing new sanctions on Russia because of Moscow's latest attacks on Ukraine. In a post on his Truth Social platform, the president called on both countries to get on with peace negotiations. But later, during a White House press conference, he once again appeared to blame Ukraine for standing in the way of peace.
We're doing very well with Russia. But right now they're bombing the hell out of Ukraine, and I'm finding it more difficult, frankly, to deal with Ukraine. And they don't have the cards. They don't have the cards. As you know, we're meeting in Saudi Arabia on sometime next week, early. And we're talking, I find that in terms of getting a final settlement, it may be easier dealing with Russia, which is surprising because they have all the cards. I mean, they're bombing the hell out of them right now. And I put a statement in, a very strong statement. Can't do that, can't do that.
Mr. President.
We're trying to help them. And Ukraine has to get on the ball and get a job done.
With Donald Trump now talking about possible sanctions against Russia, I asked our reporter Stephen Simons in Washington whether this means that the president is now going cold on Russia as well as Ukraine.
I think it's safe to say that the president is maybe playing games with the stick and the carrot and back to the stick and then a little bit of a carrot. And depending on who he's trying to address or push a little bit closer to what he wants, ceasefire as quickly as possible, then peace negotiations, peace deal. You're absolutely right. First, this post on Truth Social threatening Russia with additional sanctions. Then in this impromptu press conference in the Oval Office, no, he is best friends with Vladimir Putin. They understand each other well. And if Ukraine, that's a quote here, if Ukraine doesn't want to settle, we're out of here. Meaning, come to the table, work with us, work with the U.S. president, do what he wants. That's referring to the meeting next week in Saudi Arabia, which you have mentioned also, what he has mentioned also. So, no, Russia is still on the good side of the president. Ukraine is still on the bad side of the president.
Okay.
I think that's clear.
Yeah, so as you can see, we just, Trump loves Russia. Him and Putin are the best of friends. They get along so well. And they want the same things. Also, yeah, Trump is pushing for what he actually wants, like this guy just said. Because he wants peace. Now, I'm hardcore against the Ukrainian war, and I have some weird theories that I've yet to dive into, and I'm not ready to start talking too much about. I definitely agree with what Trump is doing. I do not think this war would have happened if Trump was president. I think NATO is intentionally doing this to poke a bear. They want to start something. And guess what? Russia's not a pawn like the other countries that are pawns to American government. And I don't mean Trump, I mean the other ones, okay? They think that they can get under Putin's skin to a point and throw us into World War III. Trump is trying so hard to keep this from happening, yet they want to keep pushing this story that Trump is against, the world, against everybody, when I just don't see it that way, and 60 to 80% of other people do not, so. Yeah, let's see what other clips, let me see what else I had. Our next clip is Trump, and I didn't get to see this full interview yet because it was this week, okay? And this is for last week. So I have a little preview. He sent a letter to Iran last week after they announced that they wanted to control the Gaza Strip and they don't need Trump's help. To my knowledge, Trump decided to say, you guys have been unsuccessful so far, I'm not cool with it, and here is the full clip.
I hope that Iran, and I've written him a letter saying, I hope you're going to negotiate, because if we have to go in militarily, it's going to be a terrible thing for them.
You wrote a letter to the Khomeini?
Yes.
When did you send the letter?
Yesterday.
And you said you better negotiate, or we want you to
negotiate. I didn't say you better. I said, I hope you're going to negotiate, because it's going to be a lot better for Iran. And I think they want to get that letter. The other alternative is we have to do something, because you can't let them have a nuclear weapon.
So I left. So our next clip is just another one I had to leave in with a little bit of pieces of what we've gotten from Doge. Since, we've only saved $1 billion, 9 billion or whatever, because it's so insignificant. Let's hear what Fox is reporting on the Doge cuts, what they're reporting, and Trump's perspective.
Get rid of the people that aren't working, that aren't showing up, and have a lot of problems. You can't have that kind of fat. It's bloat, and like nobody's ever seen before. Where you need 20,000 and they have 120,000 people, and you just don't need that many.
Doge is estimating big savings so far, $105 billion, and Americans appear to be loving it, much to the surprise of the liberal media.
I just gotta say right now, I love Mr. Enton. He is one of my favorite on CNN, and he killed it with whenever he's with Poppy. I love her. I love him because her disdain for him makes him even cooler. There's just something about how she don't like him. I feel it. They can say that's not true. I feel it. Poppy don't like Enton. And it's because he comes with facts. That's my theory. Now let's hear what he had to say.
This to me was one of the more shocking figures that I saw. Made me go, wait a minute, hold on one second. Whoa, Americans on Trump and Joe's efforts. Musk and Doge should influence government spending and operations. Look at this. 54%. The majority say that he and they should. How about approve of Trump trying to cut staff at government agencies? Again, you get a majority here. 51%.
So now we're going to hear from a congresswoman who is speaking with Fox on her opinion on what's going on with Doge, okay? And how she thinks this is going to help America.
All right, please do weigh in, Congresswoman. It does appear that this is winning the support of the American public.
Oh, absolutely. I have traveled all across the country and talked to different voters and citizens of our country. They love Elon Musk. They love Donald Trump. They love seeing the pair together. They love seeing what Doge is doing to showcase the waste, the fraud, and the abuse. They know that half of the government workforce hasn't been showing up to the office the last 4 years. They understand that. And if they got to go to work, they want federal government employees to go to work. And they don't want to send checks for millions of dollars to study Russian cats on treadmills. They don't want to spend $26 million at the NIH making mice trans and changing their gender. Doge is exposing all of this right now, and the American people are loving it. And again, this is a promise that Donald Trump made. It's a promise that he's keeping and that he's delivering. And I think Elon Musk is doing an enormous service to our country, and I'm very grateful for it.
I have one last international clip to show you guys before we move on, and that is on Canada and what is going on. Why is Trudeau crying? Why? What's wrong? Well, let's see what Jesse Water thinks, because I agree with him. I agree with him. I think this might be why Trudeau was crying.
Mr. Trudeau that he did not believe that the treaty that demarcates the border between the two countries was valid, and that he wants to revise the boundary. Mr. Trump also mentioned revisiting the sharing of lakes and rivers between the two nations. Don't worry, Justin, you'll love being a part of America. Lower taxes, a stronger military, and the NFL. What more could you want?
Yes, so turns out our contract with Canada may not have gone so smoothly, and Trump wants to have a further look at it. And I just find this funny as hell. I just think it's so funny. I love Canada. Never been there, but I watch a lot of YouTubers from there. I watch Alone a lot because I like watching Alone. It's cool. Seeing all the mountains and people survive out there. But pretty annoyed with the whole hockey thing. That was weird. That was very weird. And the Canadian behavior has been very strange. I truly believe they're eating too much propaganda as well, just as much as the Ukrainians, and I think that, well, obviously the average American as well. Not even average anymore. Obviously, the 30% of Americans who don't like Trump, right? They are eating up propaganda non-stop. And I think Canada is doing the same, because we need these tariffs. And if you guys don't understand why he's implementing them, aside from the fact that the rest of the world tariffs us, specifically Canada.
Customary Truth Social post after the conversation saying, Justin Trudeau of Canada called me to ask what could be done about tariffs. I told him that many people have died from fentanyl that came through the borders of Canada and Mexico, and nothing has convinced me that it has stopped. He said that it's gotten better, and I said, that's not good enough. The call ended in a somewhat friendly manner. He was unable to tell me when the Canadian election is taking place, which made me curious, like what's going on here? I then realised he's trying to use this issue to stay in power. Good luck, Justin. Trump then clocked onto this and exposed Trudeau's tactic, saying, believe it or not, despite the terrible job he's done for Canada, I think that Justin Trudeau is using the tariff problem, which he has largely caused, in order to run again for Prime Minister. So much fun to watch.
I've made sure that every single day in this office, I put Canadians first, that I have people's backs. And that's why I'm here to tell you all that we got you. Even in the very last days of this government, we will not let Canadians down today and long into the future.
Online commentators mocked this spectacle, with this person saying, "Governor Trudeau is crying. Trump broke him." And US Senator John Kennedy is urging Justin Trudeau to take Trump's tariffs very seriously.
Here's what we do know. We do know at this juncture, whether you like him or you don't, Donald Trump is serious as 4 heart attacks and a stroke. And if I were Mr. Trudeau, who will be hurt by these tariffs, I would get cracking on trying to stop the illegal immigration and the fentanyl.
Allowing all these drugs to come in is just not right. And if you've looked at their towns, they are filled with fentanyl as well. They don't know what they're doing either. Why would we allow that to leak over? No, thank you. Leave it over there. Leave it on that side.
Another man cry at the office like Trudeau. I mean, you own him at that point, right?
Yeah, classic beta male move. He's crying, but listen, it's so disingenuous, though. Come on. I mean, the only back he had was his own back, and arresting his truckers and just all the stuff that he did over the years. He was terrible, terrible prime minister, and I think his term is over. Thank God.
Right. Same with Mexico. We don't want to be involved with the gang stuff. We don't want to be involved with the child labor stuff, the sex slave trade. We don't want to be involved. Stop pushing it this way. We aren't like the last government. Trump is getting rid of all those dirty people. And for a little palate cleanse, we are going to move on to some logic versus the left. Because last week, there was some illogical things happening, okay? It's like, do they get it? Do they see clearly? Take a break from tap water. Don't drink tap water at all, actually. You shouldn't drink tap water. Go invest in some fluoride-free toothpaste. And try to stay away from corn syrup, okay? That's my advice to you pineal gland blocked motherfuckers, okay? Cleanse it. Cleanse that pineal gland. Be free. Be free of it. Let's go into the logic versus the left. Oh, I'm wrong. We have one last clip I wanted to leave with Jesse Waters, okay? And he's talking about one last little piece of Doge we found. A little piece of Doge.
When you hear about $50,000 to water 8 plants, that's someone's cousin, right?
I don't think it's $50,000, by the way. I think it's like 50,000 times 10. Like everywhere you go, there's jobs, there's no-show jobs, there's supervisors of the no-show jobs, and then their supervisors have supervisors, and on it goes. It is the one thing that I saw I think it was a senator or congressman. It's true. It was on both sides of the aisle, but it goes so deep and so endemic that, I think Pam Bondi is going to be really, really busy.
That's right. I bet you would want that job watering plants, wouldn't you? Any of us would. But is it right to take the people's money for such a crazy payment? Come on. Water the damn plants yourselves. Either water the plants yourselves or hire someone that's going to come do it $10 each time. Because that's some crazy shit, okay? And he's right. There's no way this is the only place it's happening. These are in our face, right here in our face, because they've gotten that cocky and that confident. Now let's dig in deep. Doge, keep going. I'm tired of this scalpel analogy. I agree. Go in with a chainsaw. We can always add more later. But we can't go back and do this again if we miss some dirt. You know what I mean? Like, we got to get all that dirt out because it's going to spread like a freaking virus, okay? I hate to use this analogy, but it's like cancer, right? You get the treatment, miss a treatment, it's gonna come back worse because it's angry. They're like fucking cancer. This last clip that I found was on X, and it is from Tim Burchett, okay? He is a Republican. He's a representative for the Republican Party in Tennessee, okay? Here's what he has to say about Doge, because seriously, these words are epic. They literally, perfect, no other way to put it. And I don't think he'll be primaried for it. If he is, that's messed up, and it proves we aren't getting rid of enough waste.
We wanted to ask you about Elon Musk's message in there. What did he talk to you guys about? What was sort of the main message?
Well, we talked about specifics of areas that I don't want to discuss the specific parts of it, but it's very encouraging of the things that he's disclosing and where he's headed with this, because they haven't even really cracked the nut. You've got education in the Pentagon that are out there, and you know what time this thing started?
Was there any sort of conversation or pushback, from folks who are
they're going to push back because you've got congressmen on both sides of the aisle that if they follow that paper trail, it's going to come back to them. You got their wife and or girlfriend that works for some agency, quasi-agency or some business, and I'll probably get primary for saying that, but that's the truth, and we all know it. And this town's crooked as a dog's leg. Somebody's going to straighten it out. Looks like it's going to be Elon Musk.
But let's move on. Palate cleanser, like I said. And we're starting with Rita because I love her. Okay, Lefty's losing it is the best way to start the morning. Rita is catching us up on what happened at Trump's speech last week, all right? Let's go ahead and take a look at how the Democrats really just defied logic in every single way.
We marvel and mock the sheer shameless stupidity of the modern left daily on this program. We've almost become desensitised to the insanity, but even I was taken aback, sickened by this demented diatribe from MSNBC's Nicole Wallace. Watch as she turns a beautiful moment into something unhinged and ugly. Let's first have a look at the beautiful moment.
Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer. In 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Now, it takes a broken soul to turn that beautiful moment into something ugly, but that's precisely what Nicole Wallace did. Watch here, she starts off pretty well, but halfway through, the TDS kicks in, and she says something so full of bile that she's straight into Lefty's losing it Hall of Shame.
But I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ, and I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump's supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
Yeah, so not only could a single Democrat stand up for any of the people who were excited, grateful, and happy that Trump is in office because of what he's done so far. None of them could stand up because Trump did it, right? He's the reason they're all standing up there. So we can't clap for the kid with cancer. We can't clap for the girl with brain damage. We can't clap for the woman who lost her 9-year-old, 12-year-old. Laken Riley's family, or the guy who was saved from POW. Like, what is this? Come on. It's so petty. Now, she continues. Now, let's go hear what else she had to say, because she continues.
This woman's TDS is incurable. Even Rachel Maddow tried to move on the conversation right after that. She didn't want any part of that lunacy. When you're too far off the reservation for even Rachel Maddow, then you know you've gone and stuffed up, Nicole.
Problem is, in the beauty of that child is the tragedy of the Trump presidency. Because we don't know how he survived pediatric cancer, but it is likely he benefited from some sort of cancer research. And it is a fact that Trump has slashed cancer research. It's a fact.
Actually not true. And shame on the Democrats who refused to stand for DJ, refused to cheer on this brave kid who has fought for his life, who loves his country, loves law enforcement. They sat there with their bitter looks on their bitter faces, holding their stupid little signs, and refused to just be human for a moment, to acknowledge a beautiful moment. But at least they were being bitter and twisted quietly. Not so Democrat Al Green, who was determined to make a spectacle of himself. This lefty losing it was warned again and again.
Small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
You heard Speaker Johnson, but do you think Al Green listened? No, he kept waving his little pimp cane around and yelling that Trump had no mandate. He was about to discover the FO portion of the FAFO equation.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
That's right. We literally had a man be removed from the Democrats' side within the first 10 minutes, I believe, because he said it was a lie that health insurance wasn't being cut, like Medicaid and Medicare. Okay, that's deranged, literally. It's deranged. So he also went on to be censored last week with a U, okay? I don't know what the difference is really, but I know that they're upset about it, and 10 Democrats voted for it to happen because they agree it was disrespectful and wrong and against our country. We have one last clip from Rita. This was a viral TikTok from I believe it's TikTok. We have a viral video from last week of somebody turning themselves into Zelensky. Let's go take a look, okay? They stand with Ukraine and they wanted everyone to know.
Curious about protesting Trump that followed this next woman's example and transformed themselves into Zelensky. Watch this.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed.
Yes, she is morphing into Zelensky in a show of solidarity, I don't know, show of lunacy. I can't keep up with the modern left anymore. Let's see if she manages to pull it off. Let's fast forward to the end. There's only so much lunacy I can take. Let's play the last 10 seconds.
Think you're something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay
Stunning and brave as always.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand how it shows solidarity. And honestly, my boyfriend thought they were being joking, like they were making fun of him. So I don't really understand. Maybe they're just a makeup queen. I don't know. We had some awesome dude who's been hanging out on Jesse Waters' channel head on down there to ask them why. Why couldn't they just stand?
Let's just keep Johnny here. So I sent him to the Capitol, peacefully and patriotically, of course, and made him talk to Democrats.
Senator, how's it going? Johnny from Fox. What could Donald Trump do that'll make you clap?
Thank you very much.
What could Donald Trump do that'll make you clap?
I did clap when he said that the United States had supported Ukraine and given them lots of
Well, why not for Laken Riley's mom? How was that speech last night? Did you love it?
Well, I watched it. I don't think that was the best look for our party last night.
Very disappointing.
So you didn't stand up for anything?
The president got before the American people, didn't talk about how he could drive down grocery prices.
Senator, why weren't you standing yesterday for anything?
Very important hearing right now on anti-Semitism.
But you didn't stand for anything at the speech last
I don't know
night.
what you're talking about, where you got that information.
Well, there was nothing the president had to say.
Laken Riley's mom, you didn't stand for her.
Factual or truthful or anything like that.
We applauded.
You don't think it's worthy to stand up for her like everyone else?
We should applaud.
I need you to move.
Congressman, why didn't you stand for the speech?
Have a good day. I need to go to a meeting.
80% of the American people, according to CBS, loved the speech.
Again, I don't think with the United States.
Are the Democrats out of touch?
The United States of America. Forgive me for going here. Forgive me for being out of breath. I don't know what speech they were watching.
They were watching the president's speech, Senator.
Really? It wasn't worth watching.
Why was Al Green so disrespectful?
You got to ask Al Green.
So I just pulled up to Congressman Al Green's office, went inside, see if he wanted to talk, because he did a lot of talking at the joint address, but they shooed me away. They said, we're not talking to Johnny. What was wrong with those Democrats? They couldn't stand last night?
Well, you know, I think people got to see the difference between conservative Republicans and liberal Democrats. Liberal Democrats are miserable people.
I bet their butts were sore sitting that long.
Why do you want men and women's sports?
Therefore, I
Senator,
need to go. Aloha.
Why do you want men and women's sports, Senator?
Thank you.
Congressman, how are you?
Okay, thank you.
Congressman, why should men be in women's sports?
Shorts?
Sports. Why do you think
they should not be in shorts?
Senator, why are we paying for Sesame Street in Iraq?
I do not know that is true, so I'm not going to say yes or no.
You don't trust the Doge findings?
I don't really have an opinion on that. And I work in a business. I think it requires, we don't have to have an opinion on everything.
Do you have an opinion on Jesse Waters?
Oh yeah, I wish I had his hair. You know, yeah. And my dad's a big fan.
You need to get away from me.
Congresswoman, did you like the speech last night?
Awesome.
I'm going to step in here really quick and just say Fetterman didn't even show up. He watched it from home, so I don't know how much more respect he showed, but whatever. Now lastly, I've got some viral clips that you guys really need to see, and I just can't believe how moronic the Democrats have just grown. It's quite outrageous.
Insiders think the party's lost its way, and their response is, let's start a band and shoot some bubbles. Guess it's better than whatever this is.
Yo, this is the Ranking Rizzler on appropriations, serving Connecticut's 3rd District. It's time to enter your dark academia Congress era. All right, besties, House appropriation is the money moves in Congress. We are not chasing the bag, we are the bag. Democrats are making life smoother through government funding. It's giving, skibbity. So Sigma, main character energy. See how I keep you informed? Very cutesy, very demure.
Democrats said choose your fighter, and they chose 80-year-olds with canes, cracked hips, and banjos.
But let's start with what the Democrats consider to be their resonating and inspiring message to the American people.
Choose your character.
So that was their attempt to connect with the younger voter, I guess, fading to this gold standard. But in hilarious fashion, the White House dropped their response video, and it is absolutely epic. Watch. Okay, not only was that White House video epic, but the production quality was just through the roof. It's pretty evident that the Democrat Party is feeling the spigot of funds being turned off by their donors. All said the same copy and paste message at once, we're gonna just believe it.
Prices down starting on day one.
Things like this do not help the Democrats' lack of authenticity problem. It shows there's no innovation or creative thinking in the Democrat Party, and they're all leaning on some stale PR firm to tell them how to operate their social media. Is this type of video on social media what you would expect the opposition party to be posting?
Oh no! It's a cultural divide. I'ma get it on the floor.
You really about to do it?
40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
They get on it like that.
Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like buck. Mustard on a beat, bro, deep boat, any rap, he a freak though. Man down, call like Amber Lambs, tell him breathe. Let them boys to the cross, they walk around like G's.
A lot of y'all probably are clapping your hands applauding this shit, like championing this shit right here. This is crazy, bro. She's doing the chick that's drunk at the club face. What is she doing here? This is the ratchet tongue. She's doing the ratchet tongue, bro. The ratchet tongue, man. Y'all don't remember when Cardi B was doing that fucking shit on Vine all the time? Yes, the ratchet tongue. Folks, we gotta do better, man. Like, this was something that kids would do. Like, her children. You feel me? Like, why are you guys up doing this type of stuff and you guys are supposed to be elected? She's supposed to be an elected official. Like an elected person, right? Or a person that works in the government. Shouldn't she be working with more maturity? Like, this is crazy, bro. But like I said, it's so many of y'all out there that saw this and was like, oh yeah, you go, girl. Not realizing how bad this makes us look when it comes to being like a politician and running the country and stuff like this. Like, when you have a mature mind and you're a leader and all of that stuff, you're not even thinking about doing no shit like this. You ain't got time for it, bro. What if Trump came out with some shit like this, bro? Oh my gosh. That would be crazy, bro. That would be crazy. But I'm done. I want to hear from y'all. Are you guys enthralled by this? Like, are you guys enthused, happy? You know, is this exciting for you? Is this awesome? You know, is this tea? I don't know what y'all call it nowadays, but is this something good to y'all? Y'all let me know if I'm tripping or if I'm reaching. Please. The ins and outs. You're not tripping, brother.
That's right. These Democrats have completely lost their minds. I don't know how they'll recover. I really don't. I think Stephen A. Smith may be their only hope. And once he steps into it, he's just going to be another version of Trump. He said it himself. He's not going to be a guy they can just walk all over. He's going to have opinions and stuff. Unless they end up paying him more and he zips it. But he doesn't seem like the type. He seems like he's ready to make some shit happen. And maybe it's just because he's the only one on the left who knows how to speak. But that's my opinion, you guys. Let me know what you think about last week's news. If there's anything you guys want to hear about specifically from this week, let me know below. I had fun today, and I hope to do this again.